That's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Tasting 1, 2, 3.
Hopefully, if somebody signs on, we'll know if they can hear us.
Mic. Check.
I think we should go.
I'm hogging the camera.
Well, we're going to have to really act like we're friends.
So,
How do we look, Case?
Good on this
No one's on.
average to middling.
Yes?
one. You guys are live.
Okay.
Awesome.
Kathy,
Deborah.
what's that one thing?
Oh my gosh. Make sure you save your documents. If you're buying a house.
Let's introduce ourselves first.
Okay.
This is conversational. Who are you? Kathy.
I'm Kathy Von Brumson. Just call me Kathy.
Kathy.
I'm a mortgage loan officer, and I'm doing business here in Georgia, in Nashville, Tennessee, Greater Tennessee.
Do you want to give a shout out to your wonderful brokerage?
Yes, I do. I work for Neighborhood Mortgage. We're based out of Alpharetta, Georgia.
Which is where we are,
Yeah.
close to.
Very close to, and they're awesome. Big
Yes.
shout out.
Big shout out.
What about you?
Welcome everybody. I'm Deborah Morton with Clario Real Estate, the founder, a realtor, your neighbor, and your friend. We are here today to talk about that one thing. What we have decided and discovered is that there's always that one thing that's on somebody's mind with real estate, with mortgages, with everything.
Yeah, it's very multifaceted, but there's always one thing you wish you knew. There's one thing you wish your realtor had told you,
Yes.
your mortgage loan officer, your friend, your mom, your dad. I mean, everyone's got a lot. They've got a lot to tell you.
There's always that one thing that you wish you had been prepared better for.
Yeah. So I obviously don't want to sit here and talk about myself too much.
I do want to talk because you have a fabulous accent. And I think everybody's going to be curious about your background because you're a wonderful person and a great tennis player from what I hear.
Thanks, Deborah. I do love to play some tennis and pickleball. What about you when you're not working? Because I have a feeling Deborah and I just met, P.S. Oh, no.
Seriously, was that you?
What?
That one thing. So that one thing. About me. My office is based in Marietta. I do work a lot. I love what I do. It's super fun, and I enjoy every minute of it. When I'm not working, I enjoy going to car shows with my husband, riding motorcycles in the North Georgia mountains, and I have some cool dogs and a wonderful daughter, and I don't know, just hanging out. Music, common theme.
Cool. And so when did you start your real estate business?
Well, Clario Real Estate became its own brokerage after it grew out of my team a couple of years ago. So April 1st will be my second anniversary as a broker owner.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that too, because April Fool's Day is a great day to celebrate.
So you've been working in real estate for 2 years. You have an interesting background. But getting to that one thing, let's talk about that one thing in today's real estate market.
That one thing everyone wants to know right now, what are mortgage rates doing?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
That's how we ended up here tonight, talking about that one thing everybody wants to know is what's going on in the real estate market based on mortgages.
It's been high, and then it'll dip a little bit, and then it'll come back up again, but it's hovering around, 6.875, inflation. That's the thing. If we can get inflation down, then the Fed will lower the rate, and Bob's your uncle, you'll be in much better shape to buy a house.
What did you say?
Bob's your uncle?
Bob's your uncle?
Yeah, it means like, voila, You don't know that saying?
I don't.
Okay.
So you never went on about your accent and where you're from originally?
Originally from Johannesburg, South Africa. My dad won a green card in the lottery. It was quite a while ago. So I've been in the States for 24 years now.
most recently Nashville.
Most recently, Nashville. Yes. So my friends who may or may not be seeing me on this Facebook Live probably know me more for trying to sing songs on Facebook because I do songwriting.
Well, we're YouTube also right there.
Oh, hey, YouTube. So
we don't want to diss on our YouTube fans right there.
So I'm a songwriter, singer-songwriter, but I've been in the mortgage industry for 7 years now. So, I've been in it for a minute, and I love it. I love helping people buy a house. It can be a challenge.
So what's that one thing that you're hearing most often right now from buyers?
I just want that low mortgage payment because they're used to having these really low rates. And it's cushy if you're one of those people who has 2.875 and now you're looking at 7, but I just tell them, look, you can buy a house and at least you can refinance when the rates do drop. And right now, even if rates are a little bit high, there's a lot of people who are on the sidelines.
So shame on me. I have a really cool slide that I meant to share. We're just doing this for the first time tonight. So our tech, hey, Renee, thanks for joining. Our tech setup, we're still working through that. So the slides that I brought or have watching the 10-year treasury rate, how it mirrors over the years. But the 40-year average for mortgages is between 6 and 6.5. So we're really not that far off from the 40-year average.
Yeah. But, when it was back in the day, when you're buying a $90,000 house, it's a little more palatable. So
does anybody remember a $90,000 house? I do. My first house was $47,000, but my interest rate was 10.
Right.
So,
right. And
it was different then.
It was.
Now you know how old I am.
So, yeah, I mean, people are still going to have to buy a house, but a lot of people have been sitting on the equity. They've got a lot of equity.
So that's the challenge that I see. A lot of people that want to make a move right now are, they have a lot of equity in their current home. They have a low interest rate, but their needs have changed and they have outgrown or they have too much house now. And they don't hate their house, but they would like to have something new. So with the sale price of new homes and their low rate and looking at the new rates, it's a challenge. Making that transition from your purchase and your sale smoothly, that's my area of expertise. That's what I help. And you help them figure out the financing package for that.
Yeah.
I make it easier.
I mean, I know it's really tough. You call a lender and I'm like, hey, what's your social? You've never met me. You talk to me for like 2 seconds. And I'm like, I'm literally diving into information that you don't tell even your significant other.
And for the record, if that one thing that you need to know is I never have access to any of that information. Your realtor, there's like privacy rules that we adhere to. Your realtor doesn't need or want any of your personal information. If you were unaware of that when you make contact with your mortgage broker.
Yeah. Or it just depends on the realtor, honestly, because sometimes the realtor is doing a really deep dive into the numbers and it just depends on how.
I've never needed someone's social ever for anything. And I don't want it.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's challenging. I would say if you're thinking about buying a house and you're nervous to talk to a lender, you don't want them to do a hard credit pull. I can do a soft credit pull now. So that's nice.
What's the difference?
So a hard credit pull means that your score is going to drop a little bit because I'm pulling it. But I can do a soft credit pull, which means I get all the info I need to be able to tell you how much you're pre-qualified for. But it's not going to be a hard pull on your credit. And also, you're not going to get 100 calls. Because that's a big issue.
Okay, so that's the one thing everybody needs to be conscious of because it's not fun.
Yeah, there's a way to get around it now.
But they don't know. You have to tell them what happens.
So I pull your credit, and I pull credit from 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax.
Mhm.
Okay.
We
And
have to be closer friends.
and so they have your information and then they sell it as leads. So they sell it to lending companies.
So wrong.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with me. TransUnion, Equifax, and Transperian, they sell your information. And so if you don't opt out, there's a link that we'll post at the end.
At the end,
The end
you'll post the link.
at the end of the podcast.
Excellent. We're going to do that.
To opt out
Casey.
of the situation.
Mhm.
That is the one thing. So even if you're buying a house in 5 years, do it now.
That is a takeaway that everybody needs to know, like for real.
Otherwise, you'll probably get 80 calls a day.
Mhm. I did have a client who didn't do that. She came in tears after she had already made contact with somebody. They had not opted out, and she got 80 calls, and she couldn't work. She couldn't rest. It was terrible.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
need
good
and
to
you
know.
need your phone. You can't
Mhm.
just turn your phone off. I usually it worked that I would run credit and take out the phone number in the
Mhm.
file,
Mhm.
and I would just leave the email because I think you had to have it, and
Mhm.
that would sometimes that would circumvent, but sometimes they
Yeah.
already have your info.
There is no such thing as
Circumventing.
Yeah.
So what's your one thing?
Well, it's 7:00 at night, so my one thing is different at this time of night than other times. I think it's really important with the speed with which the market and data and marketing and technology is moving. I would very much like to go back to that old school, let's meet in person and talk about the process of buying and selling houses person to person, like we're doing right here, like we're doing right here. I think technology is wonderful, and everything that you need to know about real estate, you can Google, you
Yeah.
can find on my website, on lots of different websites. But what is being lost in that is just good instincts and judgment about helping people,
Yeah.
because everyone's goals are different, everyone's fears are different, everyone's needs and wants are different. So there is no substitute for a good consultation.
Yeah.
Like, make a phone call, let me do a deep dive into your personal history.
Right.
Wouldn't it be better to have real conversations with real people?
Yeah. I mean, this
Mhm.
is a big deal. These
Mhm.
are massive transactions. It's
Yeah,
nothing to sneeze at, as they say. You know.
I know that saying.
And you need to be able to trust the people you're working with, especially if you're really, really busy. I mean,
Mhm.
nothing will cause a heart attack quicker than buying a home if you're not really trusting the people you're working with.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a level of trust, and I am all for the better educated consumers. They are more satisfied with their purchase at the end.
Right.
So it's not that I want to gatekeep the information. All the information you need is online, but how you put all those pieces together so we can connect the dots through the transaction matters so much. And so your realtor side in the housing and the contracts and the negotiation, you have the lender side, the mortgages, the financing, down payments, the costs, the fees. You have your home inspector, you have your closing attorney,
Yeah.
the appraiser. You have all these pieces, and I feel like my role, that one thing that I would like to convey is that my role is to help spearhead this whole team of people working together on the behalf of the client. That's the most important thing that I like to do, and it's hard to convey that if I don't have an opportunity to sit down and just have a good conversation
And explain what you do, because there is
Mhm.
a real expertise and skill to real estate. I thought about it for a hot minute, and whew,
I had some interesting conversations with some newer licensed agents, and I think there's a misconception about what we do. Not that what I do is done by everybody, but
yeah.
to have a license to sell house to write a contract and to execute a contract according to the state of Georgia,
Mhm.
there's no benchmark for the skill, the care, the expertise that a true professional puts in. So
Right.
the younger agents, newer licensees, they don't realize all the things that we do,
Right.
and the conversations that we're having professionals.
Yeah. I mean, we've been in the fire, you know,
Mhm.
I like to get into the trenches with my clients. I've learned that sometimes less is more, you know,
Mhm.
I've learned how to rein back the information dump, you know, like it's too
Just
much.
because you know a lot doesn't mean they need to know a lot. All the things.
All the things, like sometimes you just, you know,
Mhm.
but obviously the most important thing, like you said, is somehow you've got to make your clients feel comfortable
Mhm.
with what you do. And yeah, does anybody have a one thing that they'd like to share?
It's fun. So from our tech standpoint right now, it's kind of fun because we're streaming both on YouTube and on Facebook Live, not Instagram though, right?
Yeah.
But we have a link directing people to our YouTube.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So if you're seeing us on Facebook, you can find us on YouTube, and then we'll post all the links and everything after the fact, right?
Yeah.
So by going live this way, makes it more interactive. So for those watching, they can submit questions. You could submit a question in advance, but
Yeah.
it's fun to put us on the spot and ask me anything.
I mean, this is the first time I've done a live podcast talking
Mhm.
about loans. I normally am, you know, guitar, and because I feel like social media is, you know, people don't necessarily just want to hear about like 1 + 1 plus an interest rate, you know.
Well, it's pretty boring.
Yeah, it's really boring. So, you know, we'd love to hear your feedback. We definitely got a thumbs down at one point. So, there's another one.
That,
There it is.
Casey, stop it.
I guess that'll help us fine tune. But there is somebody probably out there
Mhm.
amongst my Facebook friends, your Facebook friends, Instagram, YouTube, that, you know, someone's looking to buy a house, and maybe a little bit of what we're sharing today is going to be helpful. And if you have questions, feel free to send them on over. You know?
That's right. I was going to make a joke about those of us who are sitting around um, on Facebook in the evenings with our glass of wine. I don't. I have water today, just for the record. It's water today, but you know, scrolling social, and be fun to have some good, real conversations. Not
Yeah.
necessarily about all of that. So I spent a lot of time in the car today, yesterday, last weekend, burning up the miles trying to find houses. Another thing that people are struggling with right now is there's not good quality homes out there for sale. So
Okay. You think that
Mhm.
people are just waiting for the spring, or why do you think that is?
Well, lots of reasons. February is traditionally an odd month.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes we're closing things in January that rolled over from December. So January and February are interesting in real estate. There's not really a bad time to buy or sell in Georgia because we have lower inventory right now, fewer buyers looking, but the buyers who are looking are super motivated and they need homes, and they're struggling to find good homes. But
Okay.
what I'm seeing more, and I saw a lot of this in the last couple of years, is homes were selling so quickly that the sellers didn't have to prepare very well in advance.
Okay.
So lower quality houses that are poorly prepared are harder to sell. So just because someone desperately needs a home doesn't mean they're going to buy the home that hasn't been painted or maintained, have good carpet. You have to clean, clean, clean your house. It's not fun.
That's helpful, I think.
It
I would
is
imagine.
that one thing if you're thinking about selling, how to prepare in advance. I am personally a very big fan of prepping. I'll start with somebody 6 months in advance, give them a timeline and a checklist, to-do
Mhm.
list to prepare. And it will include paint touch-ups, minor repairs, deferred maintenance items that were delayed, cleaning, Staging,
right?
proper staging.
All the things.
Yes.
We're visual peoples now, videos, all that.
Visual.
So
Mhm.
it's got to look good.
Yes.
Yes.
Curb appeal.
Curb appeal. Yep.
We're coming in the spring.
We're not talking to a ghost. That's Casey over there.
It's a ghost.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
So is 30 minutes too long for that one thing?
That one thing.
Can you-
Maybe that one thing
is
is,
10 minutes.
I don't know. I guess it depends.
Well, I guess maybe, we'll start fine tuning the podcast a little bit. Today is a good day to get
Mhm.
the tech going, and we'll probably be, a little more visuals, a little more visual aids.
Tell me
Yes.
more about the area you work and live in.
I live in Sandy Springs, Georgia.
Mhm.
I was in Nashville, Tennessee for 12 years, but I'm still going kind of back and forth.
Are you still writing music?
I haven't written music in a little minute, but when the inspiration hits, I will be writing some songs.
Do you write country music?
Well, that's a real art. I feel like my lane is a little bit more pop,
Mhm.
but I love some country music. I mean, I went to Nashville to write country music and learn the art of it, because
It
that
is-
storytelling is something else. But pop music is just as difficult. Those melodies are very tough. So, that's still my love, but these bills aren't going to pay themselves.
That sounds like a country music song.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to be close to family,
Mhm.
be close to the parents,
Mhm.
close to the nieces and nephews and the sister and brother. So, I love it here, Sandy Springs, Georgia.
What other areas have you checked out in Georgia?
Pretty familiar with, I used to live very close to downtown
Mhm.
Atlanta. I lived in Peachtree Hills at one point. Work up Alpharetta, which is north.
Mhm.
And Georgia's just beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And Eastern time zone, sun stays up.
I love that you said that. I network nationally with lots of different agents, and the West Coast time, it's tough.
rough. Yeah, it's pretty rough. So, I love what I do, and I feel very fortunate that I'm still in the lending business. Although it's been a little rocky
Mhm.
past year. There was crickets many days.
Mhm. It's interesting.
Yeah, but I want to stick with it because I realized, I was like, well, maybe I should do something else. I think a lot of lenders thought that, but I like helping people buy homes.
It feels good.
Yeah, it sure does.
So thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, everyone.
We're
Back in a couple weeks,
yes,
2
weeks.
2 weeks.
Do we know the date?
Do we know the date?
What's 2 weeks from
Quick
now?
calendar.
What day? It's Thursday. Today is Thursday. In
Uh,
2 weeks, we'll be back at 7 p.m.
So it's be the 22nd. Feel free to write any feedback or comment, good, bad, ugly, in between, open to all.
Don't be ugly.
Well,
Ask hard questions. Let's have a good debate, but don't be ugly.
okay. Yeah.
There's enough of that on social.
Positive feedback or room for improvement is what they say.
Constructive criticism is
What do you
fair.
want to hear about? And let's see if we can't. We'll be evolving for sure.
Mhm.
Thanks
This
for
is the
having
first.
me. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
So that one thing, every 2 weeks, 7 p.m. Thursday evening. Stay tuned for more crazy shenanigans.
Thanks so much. Bye.